So I was speaking with my buddy a while ago, and I was just thinking about a conversation that we had, and it's been some time, but I guess my perspective is shifting as I get older. Maybe this is something that happens to everybody. Anyway, he's an artist. He's very skilled, very talented. Certainly, he's going to get there. And you can ask, like, what does there mean? And I guess that would be for any artist, and I mean that in terms of a singer or a dancer or a musician or a writer, whatever. Eventually, you're going to be able to create a product that people are going to want to be able to buy, right? You should never, it's not realistic to start out and go, hey, I'm going to make money off of this. I don't think that's how the best art is made. I think that people approach it and you just love it, and you're going to do it at the detriment to everything else. And he's really stuck to that, and his work ethic always blew me away, and it held a mirror up to me, and it wasn't good. I realized maybe I was lazy or not as driven, and we always go back to the old man on this channel. Because the old man always wanted to do it so fast, I remember he was talking to me. My buddy goes, I might not make it for, I think he says it like 10 years. He's like, I might not see anything until I'm 40. And I don't know why, man. Like a couple years ago, that was like putting a gun to my head. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? That gutted me. The idea that I could be, and I was in a bad place a little while ago. It happens. And it's like, it's almost like I had adopted this view from my dad. Like I had to fucking make it now. I had to go. I had to get a book out yesterday, and it was going to sell 1 million copies, and that was going to be it. And unfortunately, that's just not how life works. For some people, it does. And I wasn't good enough. And that also hurts. I had this very real, honest moment where I kind of just sat there and I was like, oh shit. I may have fucked up. Didn't do what I needed to do in school. Met a woman who I love very much and had some children, and got myself into a bit of a bind because I hadn't taken the correct steps to ensure a successful future, at least not one that I would enjoy. So I was working these shit jobs, and I was writing away, and this was years ago. It wasn't good, man. Remember, I showed my story to someone. He's a director. He's someone who really helped me out. I haven't spoken to him in a while, but he had a profound impact on my life. Guy came out of nowhere. Very talented human being. Very talented. And he was kind enough to read my stuff, and I showed him my shit, and I didn't get much back. And he, really applied himself to it, and I just felt like my whole world had come undone. To circle back to my buddy talking about, you might not make it 10, 15, 20 years. You're just fucking in it. Oh, man, I stopped writing. Stopped reading. I stopped writing. And it wasn't until I essentially reinvented, I guess, my entire style. I sent that to my other buddy there, and he goes, okay, like you got something here. I really trusted his opinion, and I ended up finishing a pretty good short story. Every single human being that's read that has enjoyed it. Cool. That got me back on the path. And I bring this up because it's got me thinking now, at the age of going on 34. It's like, you might not make it, but you got to keep trying. That's not at all what I was trying to say. So it's like, I hit 33, going on 34 now, and I am just now more than ever aware, assuming I don't die suddenly, that I actually have a lot of time left to accomplish these things. And it's a very long road, not necessarily to the top, but to attaining something especially when you're talking about, writing in this context. And going back to, we'll call it the big one. It's, it's like my Silmarillion. It's this, I guess it started out as an epic fantasy. To give you some context, I think I dropped out of high school when I was like 17, and I just felt really lost. And I started writing randomly. It had always been something that I had tried to do. But I will blame the school system. It got stifled a few times. I remember there was a short story I tried to do, 3-4 pages in grade 6. I think I just plagiarized Star Wars Bounty Hunter, but whatever. And my teacher hated it. And she's like, oh, it's too violent. But it's like, you got like a 10-year-old or whatever giving you 6-7 pages of something. Jesus. Useless teacher. That was Miss Bergen. If you're out there, fuck you, because you're a dumb bitch. Truly, though, actually set me back years. Useless teacher. Just wow. If my kid ever comes to me and he's put together on his own, 6, 7, 8 pages, long form, you got to go somewhere with that, man. Anyway, fuck that bitch. Move on. Same thing happened in high school. Can't really recall I was a terrible high school student, so that's fine. But I did that. And then after dropping out, I was just laying down on the couch one day, and I was just the stupidest human being. But I started writing this story on my iPod Touch, and it took form into this epic fantasy novel. Back then, it was called Rebirth. It was trash. Of course it was. It was written by a 17-year-old. But it is just ballooned out of control. And I remember, to go back to the whole point of this is, I had written that. I had written a full I think it was like 160,000 word manuscript when I was like 17, 18. I felt like it had a beginning, a middle, an end. It was awesome. If I go back to it today, clearly complete garbage. But long story short, I just started to recycle. It's weird. I just got consumed in this endless draft phase of that book, and I was convinced that was going to be like the next Lord of the Rings, that I was the next Tolkien, and I had to, because I had nothing else going on. I convinced myself that I was going to finish it, and I had a finished one in 2019, and I think 5 or 6 people read it, and it just fucking went nowhere. I was expecting, is this not God's gift to the world? And everybody that read it was like, yeah, that's something. And I was like, oh man. Fast forward, everything that I just told you there, here we are, 2026, we're back on track. But I just feel like, my buddy was really ahead of me. I think I needed to do, I don't want to say some growing up, because that doesn't mean anything, but I had to just get it on my own, I guess. He used to say so many things to me that didn't make any sense. I never understood it. Ever understood it, man. He was just so ahead of me. He was fucking looking at styles. He was consuming his medium, in his own way, and I couldn't understand because he was caught in this rut of just putting out, I don't want to say content, just producing work that I loved. I was like, this is phenomenal, and he just was never happy with it. And I couldn't understand it. I was like, dude, holy shit, you got it. Do that. I was never satisfied with it. And lately, I feel like he's more satisfied now, he gets it, and I'm starting to get it too. Where it's it makes sense now. It's this could take 10 years, even just with the book. And then I hope I'm doing other things on the side, because I don't want to just do this for a decade. But I feel like I've reinvested myself into the writing process, been reading a lot more. Everything that we're doing with In Search of an Answer. Yeah, we just got, I got some art commissioned, plans for t-shirts. Oh, I don't know. We're going to have to do a part 2 of this one. Definitely part 2. Because there's just so much to cover with this. But we'll leave it there. Time. Some things you might never get, you might ever understand. Can you stop riding my ass? Jesus. Some things you might never understand, you might never get, you might never get that wisdom, I guess. As you get wiser. You don't necessarily get more wise as you get older. Hopefully, I feel like my brain's working a little bit better. Not much, but it is. I'm starting to see things now. There's perspective that wasn't there before, where I'm like, okay. And I try to, I blame my father for that. He was always very narrow-minded, tunnel vision, couldn't see the forest for the trees for the forest, you know what I mean? He was just always locked into the moment. He couldn't see the 10-year big picture. I don't know if I can right now, but at least I can attempt to understand it. Bit of a breakthrough lately for me. I was always in his mindset of I'll be dead in a month, man, if I don't figure this out. And it's just you got to take these minute steps that just slowly correct the course, and it can take months, if not years, to finally see, you know, that shift. We're gonna come back to this one. This is a good place. I'm gonna watch this back and it's gonna be terrible, but whatever. That's it. That's part 1.